Hello pinball friends, I'm Davey from Stumblor Pinball and this is the Lolly version 3. So what is the Lolly board and what does it do and why should you even care? Well, today we're going to show you why this board is used on more mods than any other system and how you'll be seeing it on some production games very soon. For those that aren't aware, this board has been the backbone of our mod production for the last 3 years, appearing in one form or another on mods such as the Godzilla Tokyo Neon, the Noodle Bar, the Subway, and most recently the Jaws Boy of Death. It's also being used by some other mod makers in their mods, such as the Jazz Boucher Atomic Godzilla mod, J85M Hellhouse mod for Deadpool, Jazz Boucher again with his Bond laser mod, and also the TPMF Gappa Angry mod. It's been everywhere. And why is that? Well, for the simple reason that this board provides an easy access to monitoring game events and allowing those events to trigger patterns on LED strips, and also giving the end user full control over those settings by using the Wi-Fi front end. So that's cool, I guess, but why should I care? Because for anybody who's wanted to create a mod and has some crazy mod idea that they want to pull off, but might not have the technical ability to work out how to trigger it or how to play LED patterns, this board provides them a way to do it. I did have a crazy mod idea, so I'm listening. Hopefully, some of you saw the news today that the Lolly version 3 will be getting used on the new DPX title, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. We were over the moon when Melvin contacted us to talk about this potential partnership, because not only did it give us the chance to be part of a legit production level pinball machine, but it also gave us the opportunity of working with such an innovative and chance-taking company as Dutch Pinball, who are clearly committed to the mod making ethos. Lior from Art of Pinball has been working with Dutch for a while now and is building out all of the 3D sculpts for the plastics on Alice. And now the Lolly would be controlling some of those LED patterns and also the arm movements of the Jabberwocky.
What the fudge?
That's right, Creech. Not only can the Lolly version 3 run LED strips, but we can now also run servos. And not just run servos, but we can use the same patterns that were controlling those LED strips to now control the servos. So they're going to move in a much more organic way. Also, we can play animated GIFs on the new board. You can upload a file directly to the board and have it play on an LED panel. And not just that, but it can be triggerable in-game. So when the ball rolls over a switch, it can change up the animation that's playing on that LED panel. Imagine the possibilities there. The new board has a new processor, the ESP32, which has a lot more processing power, a lot more memory, so those patterns will be playing smoother than ever before. And we've written a new Bluetooth app, which means no more connecting to the mods over Wi-Fi, no losing your internet connection when you do connect to the mods, and no having to connect to your home Wi-Fi when you update the firmware. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be very happy about that. The new Bluetooth app is written in React Native, which is written specifically for native devices. So we've got compatibility with iOS, with Android, and with the web. And it's going to contain a whole bunch of new features due to being a new cutting edge technology that we can build out a more sophisticated user experience. We've got all of the mods listed in one place, so you can shop between the two. We've got a settings marketplace, so people can publish their settings and review other people's settings to see if they're any good or not. I think all of these things combined are going to lead to a much better experience for the end user, and I'm really excited to show it to you. So let's take a deep dive into the new app. Okay, here we go. We've got the Lolly version 3 board on the workshop bench with an LED strip plugged into it. And we've got my phone over here on the right showing the Stumblor Bluetooth app in the top left corner. I've tried to shut down all my notifications on my phone, but we're getting ready to do this announcement tomorrow, so if stuff pops up, I'm very sorry. I'll try and close it as quickly as possible. Likewise, look, there we go. Yeah, so anyway, I'll just close those down. But likewise, this app is currently a development build, so there will be a couple of sort of notification pop-ups that pop up within the app itself. I'll just get rid of those when they come. So the first thing the app does is try to find all the compatible mods in the room. The Lolly V3 isn't plugged in yet, so let's power it up. The LED strip will kick in and the mod will appear in the list. So let's click on him there and it'll load up the settings. And we can see, screen's not very good, is it? There we go. So we can see that the LED strip is currently playing a sort of a blue and pink sort of water effect pattern. That's all controlled through the app here. I'll just describe the various sections of the app first, I suppose. So the name of the app is up the top. This is the Alice mod. We haven't given it a proper name yet, but that's the working title. All of the different LED outputs are up here. We can see number 1 is a secret LED. We're not allowed to talk about that yet. Number 2 is the Jabberwocky. That's going to be controlling the servo. Number 3 again is the secret section that we haven't revealed yet, and number 4 is the spare slot. That is the slot that users can create their own mods and effects. We're currently on secret, so this is an LED output, and that's what we're seeing down here. So fooling around with the control here will modify the colors being shown on the LED strip, and you can see that they're all changing now. The way the colors work is there's a primary color for the strip, and then it's mixed with these secondary colors down the bottom here. It's playing a pattern called Secret at Rest, and we've got various other controls here that can modify how that strip behaves. The strip itself is currently controlled by a physical sensor. You can see at the top here sensor 1, which is going to play a different pattern when that sensor is triggered for this number of seconds and in different colors. We can just trigger that sensor just by double clicking the header there, and you can see it changes to green when I do that. So that's a very simple representation of what the Lolly board can do. That's representative of what the Lolly board's always been able to do. So there's no sort of differences there, but it's now all in a Bluetooth app and a lot sort of more accessible than it was previously over Wi-Fi. So the new fun bits that we can demonstrate, let's have a look at the Jabberwocky. Now you can see that the interface for the Jabberwocky is completely different. That's because I've got it set up as a device type servo. You can see the first drop down there says device type servo. And it will give us different configuration options for that servo. Now, I don't have a Jabberwocky to hand because I haven't been sent one yet. So what I did instead was rigged up a Jabberkitty. Yeah, Jabberkitty. Okay, so this is just like a cheapo Chinese cat that I bought off Amazon, and I just hacked his back to stick in this, what is it, SG, I think they call it SG90 servos. Very simple sort of tiny servos used a lot in RC cars and RC planes to control rudders and things like that. And I've just chucked that in there and hooked it up to the arm to demonstrate how the servos work. So back to the interface now. Currently the Jabberkitty is at 0 degrees. If we put him on 180 degrees, you can see his arm goes down. And if we put him on 90 degrees, his arm goes back to halfway, and back to 0 degrees, and his arm goes to the top. Likewise, if we trigger his arm at 180 degrees for 1 second, he'll do that for 1 second and then return back to 0 degrees again. Now this is the beauty of where the sort of the pattern-based configuration for servos comes into play. Now, if I instead selected pattern 1 crazy and then tested, you can see his arm does all kinds of crazy stuff for a second and then goes back to at rest. Likewise, let's try some of these other ones and see what happens. Yeah. Jabberkitty going crazy. So in future releases, what we sort of intend to do is be able to implement multiple sensors so that patterns can be passed on to other patterns. So you could start out going to 90 degrees and then move on to like 180 degrees and then move on to 0 degrees. That'll be for a future release, but all very doable now that we're using React Native to build this UI out. which just gives us a lot more programming power to sort of implement those kind of tricky UI things. Now, the other aspect to what we're working on with Dutch is that we're not going to be using direct sensors to do all of the triggering. We're going to be using a game output, a USB connection between the lolly board and the game, so that we can pick up on game signals. So we can now create events on the UI, so that when a specific event happens in the game, then we can do the trigger in the same way that we would a direct sensor. So that means that modes being multi-ball, or hurry up, or a lock shot, or various different modes of the game, and they will be different depending on the game that we're connected to. Can trigger these patterns, servos, LEDs, those kinds of things. At the moment, you can see that the modes at the top are just equal to a specific number. So 0 might be attract mode, 1 might be waiting to shoot, 2 would be general gameplay, 3 would be multiple 1, 4 might be multiple 2, those kind of things. We'll try and attribute a text representation to those things so that it's not just 0, 1, 2 or whatever. So it'll make it easier to select for people who want to tie into a specific mode. Likewise, switches can also be monitored, and that's every switch in the game. Janos, the coder for Alice, is going to send us all of the game data, all of the modes, all of the switches, so that we can pick up on those signals and respond to them accordingly. So that means any switch in the game can be monitored and triggerable as an event on the Lolly version 3. The last bit of functionality that I wanted to demonstrate was the animated GIFs. So let's go over to Secret 2. This is the third LED output on the board, this one here. But rather than have it connected to an LED strip like usual, we've instead got it plugged into this LED panel. This is just something that I've made up myself. It's a 11 by 7 pixel LED panel, and currently it's just playing just a normal sort of LED pattern across all of the pixels. So this is generally what you'd see on an LED strip, but just in a panel form. The interesting bit comes when we go to the GIFs section and go to upload an animated GIF. So I've got a bunch of fire GIFs here. Let's just load up this one that I know is nice. Wait for it to upload. All of these file names can be renamed within the app to make them a bit more descriptive here, but I'm just going to leave it as is for the moment. Go back to Secret 2 at rest pattern, and instead of pattern 1 crazy, I'm now going to select that animated GIF that we just uploaded. You can see here that the pattern has now changed to this lovely fire pattern across the panels. The color section over here can be used to alter the color of that GIF. So we'll just reduce the saturation here, which tells the board exactly how much of the colors to sort of mix in with that original GIF. And you can see that now color changes to the GIF have an effect on the GIF itself. So you can make it green or blue or purple or pink or whatever color you wish, really. So let's pull it back to sort of approximately where it was in that sort of fire pattern, that orange and red, and just have a look at how it can then be triggered. We can select the same GIF as we were using previously. We'll do 1 second, then rest, pull the saturation right down, make it a green, and then see what happens when we trigger it. See, so it goes green for a little while and then goes back to where it was. We've got a bit of a flicker between the merging of those two animated GIFs at the moment. That's just a small bug that I'll have a look at before it hits production. You can see the flexibility of this system means that game events can trigger animations on a panel. Again, any game event can be sent to alter the LED patterns. They can be different animated GIFs for all different kinds of game events. We can put smiley faces up there. We can do animations that correspond to the mode that we're currently in, or whatever, really. There's endless possibilities, as they say. So yeah, that's the new animated GIF functionality of the Lolly board. There's a couple of other little areas that I'd like to discuss before we sign off. I won't go into full details about these settings sections over here, other than to say that sort of all of the LED patterns are fully, completely controllable in terms of what spin and brightness functions are used to control those. This is in exactly the same way as we had previously on previous versions of the Lolly board, but now we've got this share feature, which enables us to share the configuration that we've created. So if you've created something that you're really proud of and you want to share it with the community, you can come into this share section, write a title for it. So let's say really good settings for nighttime playing or something like that. Hey, this is great, blah blah blah. Here are the settings down here, which are the configuration options. Holding that will enable you to copy those settings if you just want to send them to somebody over email or over text or whatever. And then clicking share settings, then shares it with the community. That's not the right one, is it? So the one that here we go. That's the new one. Now, other users can come in here and say, yay, I really like it. Give it a score, review, and then boom. So this will enable different configurations. So if somebody comes up with, you know, a really nice set of settings that are better than the default, or to match a particular situation, or to match a particular version of the game, we can very easily publish it here for the rest of the community, and people can feed back as to whether they like it or not. That wraps up all of the new features that are available in the Lolly version 3 board. The ability to control multiple devices, as well as the new Bluetooth app, really increase the capabilities of this board, and I can see it being a vast improvement for the end user. I'm really excited to get these into the hands of Alice customers, and can't wait to see what crazy ideas they come up with. Likewise, if you've got a mod idea that you think could benefit from the features in the Lolly version 3 board, please don't hesitate to get in touch.